It wasn't long ago when my pen was no different than the sword. For how could one differentiate the two when a wounded victim was my product? I'd slash a verse with rounds of revisions, its marred carcass sprawled unnaturally across a page, its pungent, rotting entrails breaching the margins. I would strangle a poem between my fingers, hoping some deeper meaning might drain from it. I perceived writer's block as a transgression for which my work should be punished, and that only through flogging could its sins be atoned. But the hues of its bruised body lacked the vibrancy of a cathedral's stained glass windows. The cries of its flesh were not the symphony of sounds one would expect from an orchestra. Even so, I persisted, and the carnage continued until I could no longer distinguish my creation's blood, sweat, and tears from my own. This pursuit of perfection, this mania for mastery, made me more Massa and less Moses, more disciplinarian and less disciple, more authoritarian and less author. And I could no longer tell whether I was crafting the art or tearing myself apart. How sneaky of self-harm to disguise itself as diligence. Somewhere along my journey, I ran into what I deemed roadblock, dead end. So I strayed from the straight and narrow way to tread a rugged road to my undoing. That perverted path was all but traversed when I encountered a sculptor who was as much man as he was being, as much outspoken as he was seen. For him, the block was made of marble. He would see the poem hidden within and chisel with his pen until he set it free. I encountered a chef who was a man's, but not a man's, a Jasmine, but not a spice. For her, the block was a stove. She would take her time gathering ingredients until she felt ready to cook a verse. Neither artist was bound by the obligation to create masterpieces or by the fear of conjuring inadequacy. Imagine my relief upon learning that the roadblock I blamed for my distress was neither the embodiment of my failure nor the manifestation of my work's shortcomings. For me, the block was concrete, the exact material needed to lay pavement beyond that dead end. Just like when poetry first anointed my hand, passion's flame filled my pen once again, causing what was once concrete to melt into ink, along with all awareness of self. Suddenly, this hand began to move freely, untethered from conscious command. The line between paper and pen, poem and poet began to blur, and I could no longer tell whether I was crafting the words or if the words were crafting me.